We are live.
Tris Greener Show.
We are live on a Thursday.
It's Thursday.
We are live.
The Tris Greener Show.
Whoa. I need to do my vocal exercises, I think. Hi, everybody. I'm sporting awesome glasses again. Yes, these are like the $10 special.
You want these instead?
Oh.
No, they're not.
They're not?
No, those are peepers.
Paper. I'm peeping.
If you need,
Peeping through.
if you like
There
wearing
you go.
glasses,
Oh, yes, we
peeper
like it.
specs. I'm giving them a plug.
Just love wearing glasses.
They're awesome. They're like $18. You can have so many colors. I have a drawer of them.
I like this song.
It's samba.
It's
you know
the
how I know?
Thursday song.
1, a 2, 1, a 2, 1, a 2.
This is a samba dancing queen right here. You
Say
might
it
have
again.
to do a little
I'm a
dancing.
queen. I'm a queen.
Need a
Not
little
today.
dancing
Not,
from you.
not,
Not
not
today.
today.
Hi, Joe. Hi, Carol. Welcome, everybody. We got a juicy, spicy one for you today. Hi, Bonnie.
Yeah, we might even discuss some things that, we are. You know what?
Let's turn it up louder.
Let me tell you some things. We're going to really, not that we haven't always been real,
Oh, yeah.
but we're going
Now
to,
we're really real.
something happened with both of us, and we're both like more raw.
More raw, more real.
More raw, more real,
Amen to
because
that.
that's what allowing is all about. And today's episode is about allowing. Allowing
Yes.
what? Allowing your truth, your authenticity source to flow through you. Allowing versus
Interfering.
interfering, right?
Blocking. Pinching off the beautiful flow of energy. All right. Hi, Tracy. Hello, Ron.
Right, because if we just talk about that, just broad strokes while we wait for people to arrive,
Hello, Martin.
maybe there's just one or the other, right? If you turn the
Let's
faucet
see.
on, you're allowing the water to flow.
That's right.
And if you put a plug in it, then you're interfering. So source is always flowing. Love is always flowing. Alignment is always flowing. Flow is always flowing.
Sounds like it's
Beauty is
always
always
game
flowing.
on, isn't it?
It's always, always, always there, right? And some people say, well, it's there. I need to be there. Okay, you can say that. We could do a whole episode about that.
Being
but
there.
today's
There's a
episode
movie about that.
is about allowing versus
Interfering. Hello,
Notice-
Madeline. Hi, Pat.
Madeline.
Yay.
I thought you'd
You're
be on your
at
way
the
to
airport
Egypt. Yeah.
leaving for Egypt. Holy camole. Have an amazing time. So awesome you're checking in with us. Very cool. Well, yeah, so allowing versus interfering. Let's dig in. We've got some really interesting, I think, ways of looking at this. I'm looking at it through the lens of a martial artist and the times in my life when I've really tried to force my way as an athlete, as a fighter, and the times that I've gotten out of the way and allowed flow. I think everyone gets this at the root level, right? You guys get it.
No, everyone doesn't.
They don't all get it?
No.
I think we know it, but we forget.
Our people might get it.
You
but
guys
not
get
everyone.
it. No, that's true. Not everybody gets it. There's a lot of people that are pushing the rock up the hill.
They're blaming.
Yeah,
Right?
pointing the
When
finger.
you say I'm either allowing or I'm interfering, it's taking full responsibility. And that's a huge leap just to say yes to this conversation.
Well, there it is.
There it is.
So,
Boom.
boom for you for allowing this conversation. All right. Do you want to jump in first, or do you
No,
want?
no, oh, no, after
Oh,
you.
no,
Chipmunk.
please.
Oh, please, stop.
Please.
Just go.
I have nothing to say compared to you, but okay, I'll go first. All right. So my take on this is as a martial artist.
We
we'll
save the
start
best
there.
for last.
Yes, we always do. I know this for sure. As a martial art, let's talk about the context of fighting. Okay,
We
so I
see you
used
guys
to
popping
be.
in. Welcome,
Yeah,
Pat.
thank you for
Fun.
being here with us on Thursday. It's our group date night. That's what this
Yeah.
is. So, as a fighter, right, someone who moves from just doing the forms, right, and the artistry, right, still fighting is an art in my opinion, but getting in there and thumping and bumping around with punches and kicks and throws and sweeps and flips and chokes and you name it, mixed martial art, that was my game for many, many years. And in the beginning, I was really hardcore. I studied what you would call external arts, very linear, direct, powerful. We didn't talk a lot about the yin aspect, the flow. I got into Aikido and Tai Chi later in my martial art career. In the beginning, it was very much central line, blast through, take the guy out before he takes you out, that kind of stuff. So that was sort of my programming, very soldieristic. And I suffered a lot of blows and injuries, I think, mainly because of that approach.
Mm.
Even in my stretching, I forced my stretching and I pulled my knees out and I would hurt my hips. But I was like, all in, let's go. And that's very yang energy. So I always wear the yin and yang as a good teaching tool. It was very red. It was very hot. It was very impassioned. And then I found later in my career that I hurt a lot after getting my black belt, and I had to go more into healing. And so when I entered into the healing conversation, I started hearing more about yin energy, allowing, flowing, releasing. And I started doing releasing work and meditation work and getting into less of that aggressive approach. And I started to heal. And what is that? Well, I think part of that was I was giving my body a break. I was not being so hard on it. What's up? You're laughing at me.
No, I just for a moment realized you and I are just sitting in our house talking to this camera, having a show.
That's not a camera.
It was really sweet.
That's Bonnie and Martin and
I know.
Pat and Ron and hi guys.
This moment, I just had a moment. Sorry.
That's awesome. I love moments like that override everything, right? Because they're so special.
Because you felt so much love. Right?
Oh, I just felt this energy. You guys saw it, right? She's just like, what is going on over here? Did I say something weird? Did I have a booger in my nose? No, just having a moment.
What an amazing life. What an amazing life.
What an amazing tribe. What an amazing opportunity to get to share in this way. So back to this hardcore kid. He finds some type of access to flow, to yin, to healing energy. Now, when I started getting into the other arts, the Aikido in particular, it was like take that energy that's coming at you, and rather than try to attack it, you remove yourself around it and you let that energy defeat itself. There's a saying in Aikido, the moment you attack, you've already been defeated because you've stepped out of alignment with the way of the universe. You've stepped out of alignment with love. You've become aggressive. We used the word interfere earlier. I feel like it's enter fear. Mm. You bring fear and aggression and assertion and all of that and stress into your process, your practice, your way of being. You're going to be out of alignment with the flow. And that's what was happening to me. I was out of alignment with my energy and the flow and the connection to flow. We talk about the source of all that is. So the healing arts brought me back into that conversation within myself. And then Aikido, eventually things happened, led me to Tai Chi and Qigong and flowing and yoga and meditation. And here's the thing that trips me out the most. When I brought the flowing breathwork, releasing, relaxing techniques to some of the hardest competitors I've ever been up against, I did so well. I always did better. I remember this one guy, he was a bodybuilder, freaking gnarly guy. He had legs that were like this, that he could squat like 1,000 pounds. I'm not kidding. And he came in to train, and I was teaching him some jiu-jitsu and other things, and it was sparring day, and he wanted to spar. And so we were on the ground, and this big, gnarly freaking guy, he was like twice my size, built like a brick house, and yet he had so much stress in his face, and he had so much that kind of energy, right? And I would just slip and flow and move, and I was arm barring, it's just locking things, and I choking him out and doing all these techniques. Now, yes, I had to use some energy and protect myself, but it was the flow and the allowing of the energy flow that enabled me to best him. So that was my first introduction to seeing the release and the, not introduction, but a real good statement to the power of flow.
Yeah, power of allowing.
Yeah.
It's interesting because for me, I see allowing as the strong one and interfering as the weak one. Because when I'm in allowing, I'm in trust and I'm on board, I'm on team. I have a team. It's like me and source, me and energy. We got this.
Go team.
Right? Go team. And it may look like I'm softer. It may look like maybe even more passive, but it's not. For me, allowing, I am so taking action. It reminds me of when I was ballroom dancing, and whoever I was dancing with would give me the lead. And my job was to receive that lead and take massive action on it, to execute, and then to be ready to take action again. It wasn't like, Oh, I'm a follower. You're going to lead. You're going to drag me around. I have no purpose. I don't know where I'm going. No, it was, we're a team. You can see where we're going. I'm moving backwards. You tell us where to go, and I'm taking us there. See, that's a partnership. Go there. Gotcha. We're there. Go there. Gotcha. We're there. What next? I was very active, very strong.
So it's an active allowing.
Yeah, it feels stronger to me. To me, I am more powerful, more strong, more confident in when I'm allowing. When I'm interfering, it's usually because I'm in fear.
Enter
right?
fear.
And when I'm allowing, the thoughts are inspired thoughts, the intuition is peaking, the ideas are teeming with brilliance rather than, oh gosh, let's say it's a business thing and it's about money. When I'm interfering, it's like, oh, we got to make this much money in this month, and we got to pay those bills, and who do we pay for? Oh gosh, I don't know. I'm gonna pull my hair out. Let me get a financial advisor, right? But when I'm in allowing, it's like, oh my gosh, this, and this. I can see where everything needs to go, and not that it isn't sometimes feel frustrated or scary. All the emotions can be there, but it's coming back to this trust that.
Keyword,
that
trust.
I am totally loved and everything is going for me, and I always make the right decisions. I have to say that. I always make the right decisions and all good things happen to me. I have to stay in that place to allow the allowing. So I'll tell you a little story.
Allow the allowing.
And this might not seem important for you, but if you had this much hair, it would really be meaningful. So I've had long hair my whole life. And when I dance, I don't like any of it touching my neck, my back. It's all got to be off of me because I love to sweat. I allow sweat. And so my hair is fine but thick. And I used to be able to get these barrettes, and they held it, and they stopped making them.
I remember the day that happened. It was not a good day.
So I only had 3 left. It takes 4 to hold my hair. And they were falling apart. I was contact cementing them back together, remember? And then, so I always kept all 3 of them clipped together so I couldn't lose them. And if I ever misplaced them, I didn't know what to do.
We were in trouble.
It was like emergency.
The hair
and you can tell
alarm.
me to go shop everywhere, and I did. Well, I finally found out it's a French barrette. It's a certain size, and it's a certain clasp that doesn't have rubber as you scrape it into your head, because the rubber rips your hair. I like a really smooth metal.
Gentlemen, pay attention in case you ever need these.
So I found them. So I bought 6 of those and 3 of the other. Well, sometimes they get misplaced, or I break them. My hair breaks them. So I'm down to 4. And I wear them every day. Every day. I love these things. I love them. I love them. They are perfect. And I could not find them 3 days ago. And I have a system so I can't lose them. I clip them together. They're in a wad. I finished teaching. I put the wad of barrettes in my purse, and when I get home, I put them on a certain place on the sink. And it was time to go and teach, and I couldn't find them. I'm like, what am I going to do? Put like 10 pencils in my hair?
Alert the hair media.
Because I love to move, and then my hair falls down. Anyway, I emptied my purse. Now, why do we do this? Not once, not twice, 5 times. I emptied my purse 5 times. I think that's more than double. I emptied my gym bag, and finally I found 2 barrettes in the back of the drawer because I remember I had ordered extra, and I'm like, okay, I can use those 2.
This is a big deal.
And something else. And I just let it go. And then right when I thought that, I said, hey, didn't you have 4 bright colored shirts? You could put those in the washer to wash them while you're gone because it's such a small load, so you can do darks when you get home. Okay, got the 4 bright shirts, went to the laundry room, and lifted the washer lid, put the shirts in, closed them, and saw like a towel out of place. And as I moved it, there were the 4 barrettes. They were on top of the dryer.
Thank the Lord.
And I was so happy, but it's more than that, because I actually said in my head, I started laughing, and I just was like, you guys are good. You're so good. Like, I let go. And I always meditate in the morning and listening to something inspirational. So this random thought of, why don't you wash those 4 brightly colored shirts right now at 6:45 in the morning?
That's a really good point. It's
was
not
was
what
an
you
inspired
expect.
thought. It was really, your barrettes are on the dryer under a towel. That was too hard to say. So I guess I was encouraged to do those
That's
4
pretty
shirts.
cool. Like, and that you put 2 and 2 together. That when we get out of the way and stop forcing or interfering and pushing,
Mm-hmm.
that the universe will find a way to bring us what we're needing. It might bring it in a different way than we think,
Yeah.
and in this case, it was a different pathway, and you found what you
Yeah.
needed. But in the allowing, that which we need shows up.
Mm-hmm.
And I totally get that. I was forcing this. I don't know if you know this about me. If you don't, you will now. I like this thing called frameworks. Always talk about my frameworks because it gives my brain the ability to organize data. It creates a sense of relaxation
It means
for
that
me.
when we're teaching,
Yeah, like a structural.
there's 4 modules, and each of the 4 modules has 4 parts, and each of those 4 parts has 3 subcategories.
Yes.
No,
Things are
they're
organized.
always even.
No, not always. Sometimes the power of 9 kicks in. But they're organized, and I can find things, and I like that. I like being efficient. I like being able to bring information to people in a way that's easy to understand and follow. Right. So we're actually both really into frameworks. We love them. But so I was working on a framework for something we're launching soon, and that's really exciting, and I can't wait to tell you about it. But I won't. Cake. But I was pushing.
No, you won't.
I won't. Definitely won't. I will get thrashed if I do. I was trying to force the framework. So if anyone knows our Satori map, you've seen the beauty of this map that's birthed from the yin and yang and how things separate into the core 4 and the grade 8. And it's just this beautiful way to flow energy through your life. Well, that was really given to us from being in a state of allowing. A lot of meditation, introspection, looking at it, and it took years, and it kind of formed its way into like this very beautiful thing that helps a lot of people, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we have a similar thing going on with our love-based business programs, and there's a framework, and I'm trying to push something into it, and it's not quite fitting. I'm like, I want it perfect, and so I just had to walk away from it. You ever trying so hard, you're like,
Yeah.
I gotta let it go.
He's trying to put the stepsister's foot in the glass slipper.
It wasn't
and
fitting.
It only fits Cinderella. Cinderella's the flow person.
Yes. So I just said, let me just let that, sit over there and move on and do whatever else is in front of me. And so, like Sabrina, I meditate in the mornings, and it's a beautiful thing just to get out of the way. And in my experience of meditation really is allowing also, like getting out of my head, if you will, getting out of the many mind thinking, and just allowing this feeling of like a stream flowing through. Sometimes I feel it rising up from the earth, but it's usually like this flowing through. And what I experience is a clearing out of thoughts and clutter. And then on 2 levels this happens for me. One is I'll have a mental epiphany, which is like what you might call an aha or an insight. I've allowed the system to settle enough that I just get like a, do you get that? Right? Where you just like, got it. Could have had a V8 moment. I see it. It's clear. But there's another level of allowing that takes place. If I go really, really deep, I feel like this opens and clears so much that my awareness drops into my heart center, which we call the brain of your being. And what I find here is that it's almost like there's a broadcast station. You know how like a radio station sending out signals, and then you dial in with your radio and you hear that broadcast. Well, if this broadcast is going on too loud, I don't ever hear this broadcast. So I basically turn this one off or mute it. And then this one goes like this. And then I have a Satori, a true aha. It's like I can finally hear. Well, I feel that this one...
when you're in meditation, it's about being a good listener.
Totally.
Not a good
But that's
conversationalist.
getting out of the way, releasing your resistance, and allowing. Or like you said, allow the allowing. I really like that. I feel like there's an allowing. There's a flow.
You can make a framework
I'll make a framework from that. I'll make a meme. So this thing just went into my awareness. It was like, boom, you're totally missing. Not like it didn't come through like that. It was like, it should be this way. And I got up and I had to write it down. I was like, oh my gosh, that's so perfect. How come I didn't ever see that before?
It's so
obvious. It should be in this order.
But you can't see it because
I was interfering.
You're interfering.
I was forcing.
With the flow because you have a preconceived idea about the way it has to be.
It's great.
It's great to have ideas. Like I think this will work. I think this will work. But when we get like, this is the way it is, and
I
it
was
doesn't
forcing
come
it.
from inspiration, then it's hard to hear.
Just like you found those things in the unusual place that you didn't expect. It
Yeah.
was like you just let go. In that letting go, this wisdom comes. And I think so many of our friends here so get that. You know, you've had your most magical moments when you weren't trying, when you were just in the allowing. So it's
Mm-hmm.
such a beautiful thing, the difference between the two. As I see people who force and push and they make things happen, but oftentimes there's a feeling of something's missing
Yeah.
still.
Because if you get the thing that you
Mhm.
want, uh-oh,
Sorry. Uh-oh.
that's okay.
Don't know how that happened.
Because those were for me and your head's bigger.
I think I'm supposed to allow a new pair to come into my life.
Here, I just allowed it.
That was weird.
I forgot what I was saying.
I don't know. Something about allowing.
Yeah. So here's where the rubber meets the road. Here's where the tricks gets trickery. We get a lot of people asking us to share more about relationships, particularly like partnership relationships, life relationships, love relationships, and about what we have discovered that allows us to have the relationship we have, which is amazing. Like whatever you see, you come and be in our house. That's the same thing you see. Like it's not any different. And I would say that the respect that we have for each other's commitment to allowing is a big reason that our relationship is so beautiful. So I might not be into fighting, but when Tristan tells me, this is how I tap into allowing, this is how I create, this is my passion, this is how I let love flow, I respect that completely. And I don't want to be the thing that interferes with his allowing. So sometimes that's interesting in life when you're with someone that maybe isn't supporting you in what you do, or maybe you don't really like what your partner does, and you could step back and say, is that action that they're doing helping them to allow more flow and to allow more love? And is my resistance to them doing it fair? Am I is my resistance keeping them from tapping into their allowing and flow?
Yeah.
We took a class, oh my gosh, oodle decades ago. And I'm sure you remember this exercise. And it was about relationships. And it was an interactive kind of like acting class, therapy thing, workshop. And so one person would get into a particular
Oh, yeah, I remember it.
pose or posture. Let's say I got in a posture like this, and you would find someone who had a corresponding, matching,
Kind of dysfunction, right?
uncomfortable posture, but you fit together, right? Like one person's hunched left, so you find something that's hunched right, or something where you support each other's dysfunction, and you walk around. And then one person, and I'm not insulting by saying dysfunction, but that's what it is. So then one person says like, hey, I can let go of this thing that isn't healthy for
It's
me,
non-functional.
and I'm going to
Not functional.
stand up a little bit straighter. And when that person stands up a little bit straighter, the other person goes,
Hey,
get back down here.
Come back here.
Get back. It
This
doesn't
was working
fit the
so
same.
well.
And in
Why are you
those
changing?
in those moments, right, exactly.
Why are you changing?
When you find those moments in your life, whether maybe you're the one starting to shift the posture, or maybe the other one is, reframe it as they're not doing anything to you.
Right.
They're trying to adjust more
Oh man, that's
into
huge.
an allowing position.
If you get that.
And you cannot stay bent over and distorted from your flow and alignment so that the other person's dysfunction is more comfortable for them.
That's
Because
so
at the
good.
end of our lives, if I stayed in a dysfunction where I'm not fully serving source and I'm not tapping into my passion and purpose the way I'm meant to in this lifetime, the whole reason that I'm here, if I'm half-assed because, oh, Tristan needs me to walk with a limp because his dysfunction fits that, then I'm going to really regret that at the end of my life, and so is he. Right? So I think this conversation about allowing and looking through the frame of allowing other people to tap into their beauty and allowing yourself to, and having the tough conversations when maybe the person that you're with says, wait a minute, I really don't like that you're allowing more source and love and flow and healing into your life. And you have to, maybe communicate it in words that they can understand. Maybe not. But if you stop being the crutch for them, they're all of a sudden going to start using muscles they haven't used either. And they will probably straighten up or find somebody else to lean on.
This is hitting home with a lot of folks, and that's a really great illustrative.
It's a tough conversation to have.
It is, but it's so helpful to see how, when things change, the uncomfortableness that can come from that, because we were supporting something that wasn't, maybe it was working then, but it's just not working now. Yeah. I have one more thought on this, allowing conversation before we all say.
I will allow.
Thank you. Wow, I feel so blessed. So,
we'll have to click that button in like 2 minutes.
We do. We're going to click it now real quick. Okay. Your point is so relevant to parents and children too. That's really right on, Nancy. Totally. We have to allow our kids to go through what they need to go through, and yet also be there to protect and support them. Mm-hmm. So I've had like this interesting thing with another person where there's been a projection. I mean, do you guys project? I mean, who doesn't, right? Like, we all have our opinions of how people should be and how they should treat us, blah,
especially
blah, blah.
with people you've known for 10, 20, 30 years.
Even that, yeah.
This
isn't that long, but actually I get to have an awesome thing tomorrow where I meet somebody that, we definitely had we were supporting each other. I was actually very aligned and holding them up straight. And then they decided to get crooked and bump into me, and it tried to push me off a line. It was really not saying that. Of course, there was something in it for me too. There's always something in it for us, right? Yeah, otherwise, it wouldn't be there.
To have the courage to say, allowing source is more important than our egos being comfortable. Everyone's going to grow.
So here's what happened. It was an allowing this person to be having the experience they're having in the way they're having it, regardless of how it's seemingly impacting me or how it makes me feel. It's really none of my business what other people are doing. What's my business is how I'm lining up to source and to flow through my allowing. But I was able to shift something in my mind and see, and maybe this is totally like just a way that I reframed it that works for me, but I'm happier in this narrative, where I saw actions that they were taking were so beautiful because they were stepping into their why and a protector and spending time with someone that they really love and doing what they were doing that was different than what I thought they were going to do, but doing that because they were choosing to be the good person and step up as a parent and just be so beautiful with their child. And just, that's about all I can say on this one, but I just felt like this letting go and allowing this love just poured through me for this person that I hadn't been allowing, because I changed a freaking thought. I was interfering with my thinking. I was interfering with my love line. I changed the freaking story, and boom, all this love poured through me towards this being, which is really an extension of me, if I own it. But I felt such a release and a love for this person, and I hope that they feel it. Because, well, either way, I feel it, and I love them so much. That was just a little thing that happened this morning. I haven't even had time to tell you about it, but does it make sense? No, I can tell you who. People can read lips around here. No, it just felt so good to allow love and to send love. I stopped interfering with source, because you know what? You think you know what someone needs. You think you know what is the right action, but sometimes you don't. We just don't. And no matter how great of a coach or a teacher or sensei or sifu or whatever, you just don't know what people need sometimes. Maybe ever. And so it's out of my hands. All I'm responsible for is choosing to love. Man, freedom there for me. I love it.
And when you...
So there.
when you are a soul, like say with us, like we're here alone. Like I have my own soul journey, and Tristan has his own soul journey. We feel extremely intertwined, and yet never lose the respect for honoring the other person's individuality, the way that maybe they connect to source in a different way than we do, to listen and to allow. Like there's things that Tristan likes to do. He's like, maybe this isn't true, but let's say, for example,
oh boy,
that he would like to go and live in an unair conditioned, without Wi-Fi hut on a beach for a week.
Oh, that's fine.
I have like the unair conditioned and the not Wi-Fi.
There's water right there. You just go get in the water.
Well, I'm not fond of that either. So, but isn't that okay that he likes that? And I'm like, as far as an outside preference, I'm like, let's go to Manhattan,
air conditioning, and
see. Let's go see Broadway musicals, like as many as we could pack into a day. Like that would be like, as far as like, that's to me. But why? Because singing and dancing and pretending is in my roots of my life and what I've done. It's how I tapped God first in my life. So that's what that means to me. But I have the awareness of that.
Through the ocean.
You did through the ocean. Yeah. So when he's saying that that's what he wants to do, if you can pause, and I can, so when I say, yeah, let's go do that, because it feels so beautiful to say, yeah, let's go. Yeah, exactly.
We just booked a flight to Cancun for next year to go live in a hut with air conditioning.
And it wasn't cheap.
But now I realize why there was like, are you sure you want to go? Are you sure you want to go? I'm like, no, there's going to be a lot of beautiful thought leaders there. We should be there for this. And she's like, okay.
Okay.
And now I get it.
Because I want him to have that experience, that it's so easy when you're in the environment that triggers you to be in source in the first way that you knew it. Just like for me, I disappear in musical theater.
I guess we'll be going to New York soon.
It's not a trade, but it's about understanding. It's never about what we think it's about. If you want to do something and your partner's like, I'm just not sure. That's fear. What is, try to think about, what are they afraid of? Are they afraid of losing you? Are they afraid that you're going to learn something and be smarter than them? Like, really try to think about what it is.
We'll work on that one, Devin. The good news is we have so many other things in common that we're just always playing together.
Oh, we're so lucky. Like, we eat the same food. It's really good.
I tried to put your comments, most of the ones on the screen. There's some, like this is at our Facebook page that you may be seeing this, or on our website. So some things I don't always put into the video. But
I'd love to know, though, do you guys like talking about relationships?
Yeah. Well, people are encouraging and asking us to do more on that.
Yeah.
I just wanted to say thank you for all of the beautiful contributions. I know we didn't get a lot of questions back and forth today, but I saw you guys were just flowing through with this. And it seems like this was a great topic to chat about. So, as usual, Sabrina, thank you for bringing this fun topic today. I'll work on next week's. Maybe. We'll see. If you've got a nice takeaway that you want to drop in, we'll be reading them all night as we head off to a date night. We're going to a place called The Domain tonight.
And we're super excited, those of you who are coming to visit us in Austin in November.
In fact, we're going to check out a new wine bar. It's an extension of the one where we're having our private party. So if you're coming to Austin, November 15, 16, 17, 18, and 19, there's 3 events rolled into one. Go to satorimethod.com/Big Life, BIGLIFE. This is our event for Qigong, for meditation, and helping teachers, coaches, and healers grow or expand their love-based business. Awesome. And I know Joanne is here and Bonnie's here. If someone wants to drop that URL in for us, we'll do it later as well. Thank you so much. Here we go. Turn it up. Let's go, baby. Wow. Thanks, everyone. So much love to you. Just be the show.
on a Thursday. Wake up and flow.
Let's go.
Bye.
Bye.